let me save you months, if not years, of wasted time on your self-improvement journey, especially for 2025. So today, we're gonna break down the 5 biggest mistakes that men make when starting self-improvement. Mistakes I've made myself and the ones I see over and over again. And one of the mistakes is so common, almost every guy falls into it. Now let's jump into mistake number 1, because chances are you're literally making it right now. That is focusing on one thing at a time. Now, I know it kind of sounds counterintuitive because you probably heard advice like, oh, just focus on one thing and master it. And yeah, there is a little bit of truth to that, but when it comes to self-improvement, it's simply a trap. Now let me explain. Imagine that you're building this house and you got the bricks, you got the wood, the tools, and it's all laid out in front of you. But instead of laying the foundation, setting up the walls, and the roofing simultaneously, you say, nah, I'm just gonna spend all my time perfecting this one wall. So you end up finishing it, it looks great, but now you got one solid wall and a bunch of empty space around you. That's exactly what happens whenever you hyper-focus on just one area in your life, whether it's fitness, money, or even your social skills. And like I said, I see this all the time. Another example is a guy goes all in on the gym. You know, he gets shredded, loses fat, becomes a new person. And through that, he expects his confidence and social life to just magically fix themselves. Or maybe he focuses only on his career, stacking up cash, and he wakes up one day realizing he's actually lonely and out of shape. Both places you definitely don't want to be. So here's the solution. You're gonna identify your biggest deficiency, whatever that may be, and then you're gonna make that a priority while still maintaining the other areas of your life. So think of it like spinning plates. And no, I'm not talking about women in this context, but whenever you're spinning plates, you're sometimes focusing on one and giving it a little bit more attention, but the other plates are still spinning because you don't want them to come crashing down. That's exactly what overall life self-improvement really is. All right, so mistake number 2, and this is definitely a big one, and honestly, I've been guilty of this myself, and that is too much knowledge, but not enough action. Now, I got a question for you, and I want you to be real with me. How many self-improvement books have you read? How many YouTube videos have you watched? How to become more confident or how to build a 6-figure business? Probably a lot. I know, literally, I probably have watched thousands of videos, informational videos. Now, don't get me wrong, consuming information can be amazing, especially if you act on it, but here's the truth, most people don't. Actually, there's even a study that says that only 10% of people actually implement the knowledge they learn from books, courses, or even seminars. And the other 90%, they just become what I like to call personal development junkies. They're addicted to learning, but they are allergic to executing. And like I said, I've been there. I've read the books, I watched the courses, and I knew exactly what to do, but for some reason, I just didn't do it. Until one day, I paid for a coach. And do you know what happened after that? I actually started taking action almost immediately. And it was because I kind of felt like I had skin in the game. Whenever you invest something that you've earned, for example, money, into a coach or even a program, you're not necessarily buying the knowledge because most times you already know it. You're actually buying the accountability and the implementation that's giving you a reason to follow through. That's exactly why people pay for fitness coaches, even though they know how to lose weight, eat less, move more, or why somebody would even invest in a dating coach. Wink, wink. Because it's much better than just binge watching how to text your back videos. That's the whole reason. Now, I'm not saying that you have to invest in a coach, or some of you guys might not even be ready to invest in a coach, and that's totally fine. But here's a framework that can help you sort of break out this analysis paralysis sort of mentality that you might be going through. And that first is the 80-20 rule. So this is otherwise known as the Pareto principle. And basically what it states is that most of your outcome is going to come from a very small percent of your actions. So what you need to do is identify the 20% of your actions that will give you 80% of the results that you're looking for. So if you're trying to get fit, for example, you just focus on showing up to the gym and eating a protein-rich diet or hitting your macros per day. Those main 2 things are going to get you most of the results that you're after. Also, if you're working on your social skills, you can try to aim to have at least one meaningful conversation with a stranger per day through a compliment or even a greeting. Just simplify it. Also, another tip I really love in terms of taking action is to have a next step rule. So after you consume a book, a podcast or even a YouTube video like this one, you have to write down at least one actionable step, something practical that you can do after consuming that piece of content. Just one. Don't list out 5, 10, but simply just one. Now, moving on to mistake number 3, and this one, tons of guys just simply overlook. And to be honest, I believe it's one of the biggest reasons why I'm at where I'm at today, and that's not documenting the journey. You see, when I started my self-improvement journey, I didn't think, oh, I'm gonna blow up on social media and change lives. No, I was just a guy in the gym recording myself trying to master calisthenics. That's simply it. But here's what happened. Over time, those little clips turned into a story that people actually resonated with, that I then created into content, which that transformation video in itself ended up reaching millions of people because I had proof of my journey. I wasn't just saying, oh, I've improved and look at me, now I'm showing it. No, I actually showcased the whole entire progress and journey. And at first, it wasn't even for content, it was purely for myself. Even if you scroll through my Instagram, you'll notice something that I literally don't delete anything. I don't delete any pictures. I show all my wins, my struggles, my early awkward posts. Everything is on there for you to see because I purely want to document the journey, not for myself, but also for other people and even for other generations. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, but I love the fact how my great-great-great-grandson can literally see my journey and know everything of anything I was going through at any point in time because I posted it out there. Now, once again, you don't have to post it out there for people to see. You can do this through just documentation, through your notes, through journaling. Just write down your goals, your daily wins, even your struggles. Or if you prefer digital, once again, use your notes app or even start a private Instagram account to where it's just yourself on there and you're just taking pictures, photos, videos, and you write captions about your progress, even if nobody sees it. All right, mistake number 4, and this is literally social media in a nutshell, and that is never evolving past fitness. Look, I understand for most guys, fitness is like a gateway drug into this whole self-improvement world. You hit the gym, start seeing some results, and suddenly you're like, bro, I've unlocked life. I got a 6-pack, I'm ripped, I got the biceps, I can do a muscle up. And yeah, I do believe getting in shape is foundational, it definitely is. It teaches you discipline, delayed gratification, and it's often the first time you actually see the hard work actually pay off. But here's the trap, and that is you get stuck there. You become what I like to call the gym guy. And that's where your entire identity revolves around macros, PRs, and gym selfies. Though, I take them every week too. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I've been there. And even if you watch my 10-year self-improvement video, you'll know that fitness was my first big focus. But over time, I realized, for one, my shredded abs weren't going to fix my bank account. And then also my max pull-ups weren't going to help me navigate relationships. And let's be honest, though I've said it multiple times, but nobody actually cares about your 6-pack. All right, maybe for like 5 seconds, but after that, they truly don't care, bro. You see, fitness is a pillar of self-improvement, not the entire building. Eventually, you will have to branch out into other areas like financial literacy, social skills, relationships. It's literally like leveling up in a video game. Fitness might get you to level 1, but if you don't upgrade your stats, you're gonna get smoked in the other levels in later rounds to come. Now, what really helped me was trying to understand what phase I personally was in. Are you in the health phase where fitness is still like your main priority and focus? Are you in the wealth phase to where you're stacking cash and excelling in your career or maybe entrepreneurship goals? Or are you in the relationship phase where you're trying to learn how to connect with people more, whether it be male or female, or even just navigate long-term relationships and attraction? All right, mistake number 5, and this one's gonna be huge in 2025, and that is failing to build an attractive personal brand. Look, guys, we are in the digital era. Whether you like it or not, everybody has a personal brand. So even if you think you don't, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, even your dating app profiles, they all tell a story about who you are. And here's the truth. People are judging you based on that story. So think about anybody you actually even admire, whether it's a YouTuber, a fitness influencer, entrepreneur, this person, even somebody in your local community who's absolutely killing it. What do they all have in common? They all built a brand around themselves. Otherwise, you would not know them. But here's another area where guys mess up, and that is they think that building a personal brand is too hard. It's too time consuming. or they need to have some sort of crazy story to share. That's not true whatsoever. Remember mistake number 3, documenting the journey? That's literally how you start building the personal brand in itself, simply through documentation. You do not need to be an expert. You just need to be authentic to who you are and what you're showcasing, and best of all, be consistent. Post your workouts, share your lessons you learned from books, show your style progression, and talk about your wins and also your struggles. And the benefits? Well, I could say they're pretty endless. I've seen it in my own life and I've seen it in the guys that I coach. You get better dating results, more networking opportunities, even higher paying job offers, and this potentially leads you to starting down your own business or even helping somebody else, grow or scale their business, which is also pretty lucrative. But if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Austin, I get it, but once again, where do I start? That's exactly where I got you covered. And that's why I created something known as Austin AI Coaching. This is not a generic chatbot or even ChatGPT. This is a personalized AI coaching service trained on all my content for the past 10 years that also learns you over time and what you want to do. You're gonna get direct guidance on how to build the attractive personal brand, from improving your online image to how you present yourself confidently in photos, captions, and pretty much every other social interaction. And for the new year, for 2025, you can try it out for the absolute free for an entire week. It's zero risk whatsoever. You just have to start. So if you're serious about leveling up your brand and your life, just click the link down below this video to get started. All right, those were 5 mistakes. And even if one of those hit home, then you got your next steps laid out for you. Remember, take action after this video. And by the way, if you want to see exactly my whole 10-year progression, don't forget to watch this video next, where I kind of lay out everything very transparently. I'll see you in that one.